Hey everybody, welcome to Life Worthy with Kate, and as always, I'm Kate. If you don't watch me on Facebook and you kind of miss having the health coach pop on periodically, I do most of my little talks from my Facebook page in the form of Facebook Lives. So if you ever want to find me that way, you can find me by going to at Katie Parker Novian on Facebook. So I'm going to put a link to my profile down below. If you want to friend request me, I am really cool about accepting friend requests, unless you turn out to be a creep, in which case I will block you. But for the most part, if you are looking for positive, encouraging messages, if you are looking for health tips periodically, if you are looking for good ways to structure your life and manage your stress and handle things from a nutrition standpoint and just an overall life standpoint, I welcome you guys. Today I'm actually going to do a video for you where we're going to talk about a couple of different things. First thing on my list for this particular talk is to talk about things you can do right now in order to manage your weight while you deal with all the stress and craziness of living a different lifestyle than you normally live. So let's talk about how to develop those great habits in this time and how to make it last for a longer period of time. So here we go. Tip number one, if you are dealing with a weight issue, whether it be that you've been overweight for a very long time, maybe you've never been at a healthy weight, maybe you were heavy as a kid, you've come to believe that that is your norm, that that is just you and there's nothing you can do about it. Maybe you have tried to do things in the past. Maybe you've been temporarily successful with them. Maybe you've been temporarily not successful with them. Maybe you've been okay for a while and then you've gone back to your old ways. This message is for you. So one of the things we know from a health coaching standpoint on the program that I do, if you're curious, yes, I use Optavia. I am a coach, and I am always open for new clients and people who are looking to coach themselves. People who want to do this as a business, I welcome you to. But for the most part, what we teach in Optavia is that we break our nutritional needs down into small, manageable amounts throughout the day, okay? So you're not starving. You're not sitting there going, oh my God, I wish I had the freedom to do whatever I want, because then my life would be so much better. We're going to build in the structure for you. We're going to tell you what to eat and when to eat it. So we're going to take over the responsibility of the structure part. And then we're going to help you with the follow-through by coaching you the whole time you're on program. What that looks like for you is that you will wake up in the morning, you will start eating within half an hour. Why? I mean, intermittent fasting says don't eat for a long time. Well, we want to get your metabolism going as quickly as possible during the day, because we want to be able to provide your body with what it needs and never have it running on fumes, okay? We want to make sure our body has what it needs at all times. So we eat every 2.5 to 3 hours. What that means from my typical day is I wake up at about 6:45. I wake up at 5:45. I am eating by 6:30. So let's round up to 7, make things kind of easy, or up to 6. And let's say I got out of bed and I got to eating right away. So I have my first fueling at 7 a.m. Okay? 6 a.m. Good Lord, I'm going to have to re-record this. So I'll cut that out. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, take again. So what you're going to do is you're going to break your day up into 2 to 3 hour periods of time. So if you're like me and you have long days, okay, most of us have long days, meaning 18 hours. sometimes more, sometimes slightly less, but around 15 to 18 hours. So for that, I'm going to break my day up into 3-hour blocks of time. I wake up at 5:30 in the morning, 5:45. I am eating my first fueling at 6. Okay? My second fueling comes at 9. My third fueling comes at noon. My fourth fueling comes at 3. My fifth fueling is actually usually my lean and green if I'm at home. And we'll talk about what the difference is. And then my last one is again at 9. So basically, at that point, I'm usually in bed by 10:30 or 11. Okay, so there's not enough time for another fueling at that point. So I've had 6 meals in my day. Here's what they typically look like. My first fueling at 6 a.m. is usually a shake. No, I do not believe in eating a completely liquid diet. I don't find it particularly satisfying. But I don't like eating food when I first wake up. I am half asleep, I am not a morning person, and I do not have the temperament or the patience at 6 a.m. to make food. So my first one is usually a shake. Sometimes I need the extra caffeine. I don't have a problem with caffeine, by the way. I have no problem with drinking coffee. I'd prefer my clients not drink 3 pots of coffee because it's a diuretic and it tends to dry us out. And we want to make sure we have enough water. I'll get to that later. So at 6 a.m., if I am needing that coffee, I will actually take that 6 a.m. shake. I will use it as the creamer for my coffee. Brew up my coffee in the Keurig, dump in the shake it up, or put it through a blender. There I go. I have my latte for the morning. Off to work. First fueling of the morning, other than that, is usually a bar. Because again, me and mornings do not really mix that well. So my first fueling at work tends to be a bar. I'm also kind of a sweet tooth, so it's usually either chocolate, or it's drizzled berry, or it's sometimes a campfire s'mores. Because I like my sugar. I like that feeling of that sugar. I like that taste of sweet. Okay? Should probably rephrase that. It's not that I love sugar, it's that I love sweet. So that chocolate, 9 a.m. makes me happy. So I'll do that. And then my next fueling, I'll work for a couple of hours. I get to my noon fueling. Most of the time I will do this as either a cup of soup, or I will do it as maybe I'll take pancakes and I'll make a little mug cake in my coffee mug by mixing in the water and throwing it in the microwave. Sometimes I'll do a bar if I have no time, but most of the time it's soup. That's my typical lunch. I've also been known to do a bowl of oatmeal for that. So, I mean, there's lots of options, okay? Sometimes I will do, if I have more time, sometimes I actually get a full lunch break. If that happens, then I will usually make the penne pasta, which is, again, I put the water in the bowl, dump in the pasta and sauce mix it up, microwave it, let it sit, microwave it again, stir it up, let it sit to cool down, and then I'll eat it. Whole process takes less than 15 minutes, so even on a short-ish lunch break, I can usually handle that. So there we go. I've got my pasta. Then I've got my 3 o'clock fueling. This is almost always another bar because that is my crunch time. Well, that's funny. Crunchy bars and crunch time. Anyway, I am usually very busy around 3 o'clock. I'm usually dealing with clients for my husband. I'm usually handling phone calls. I'm usually doing some work for my grad classes. Sometimes I'm doing health coaching calls at that time. It really just depends on the day. But it tends to be very busy around 3. So I will do another bar because they are quick, easy, and simple. The afternoon bar tends to either be a cranberry honey nut granola bar, or it will be something a little spicy, like maybe the honey chili cranberry nut bar. Sometimes it will be something like the coconut curry bar. Those are the kinds of flavors that I tend to look for at that 3 o'clock point. Let's say I'm having a really long day at work and my 6 o'clock fueling, I'm still at work. In that case, it's usually either a bar or it's a brownie or it's a cookie. So again, I like sweet, so I tend to gravitate towards sweet. So the brownies, the cookies, they're really good. The cookie is a really good one if I'm super busy at 6 because all I have to do is mix in the water and I don't even bother microwaving them. I actually eat it like cookie dough. Makes me happy. It's also quick, easy, simple, and it's filling. So I will eat that typically at that 6 o'clock spot. Then comes my lean and green. Okay, so if this is my typical long day at work and I'm having my fuel or my lean and green last, I will typically not get home until about 7:30. So by the time I cook, I'll usually eat between 8 and 9. And yes, I realize that's late. However, I'm still not going to go to bed till like 10:30 or 11. So I've still got plenty of time in there to digest that food. So my lean and greens, I will tell you, are varied. I have a total of 57 different meals that I can pull out of a hat on any given day. Okay, so I have a lot of them. Some of them are ridiculously simple. It will be grilled fish or grilled protein, like maybe grilled chicken, or maybe it will be shrimp, or maybe it will be even just a steak. Some days I'm not a big steak person. I know I'm a Texas person and I don't like steak. There you go. By the way, I do not go to UT. This is my husband's jacket, but it is surprisingly cool today, so I grabbed it out of the closet. I'm actually a Red Raider, guns up, and I apologize for that, but it is guns up, guys. I am a Red Raider through and through. Just borrowed the jacket from my husband. So, anyway, I'm not a steak person, so I don't typically do that, but sometimes I'll do fajita beef, where I will get a lean cut of steak, and I will marinate it, and then I will grill it, and then I'll have fajita steak. So, it's going to be one of those proteins, and then for my vegetables, I'll usually divide it. So I'll have mashed cauliflower. It's a lot like mashed potatoes, guys. Or I will do a vegetable medley where I will do zucchini and squash and okra and maybe even some green cabbage. Makes a really good vegetable medley for the side. Or maybe I will do a salad. I will tell you I don't do salads often because like the steak, I'm not a big salad person. But maybe I'll do a salad that is 1 cup of lettuce and 1 cup of a combination of vegetables, maybe tomatoes, maybe bean sprouts, maybe kohlrabi or leeks or something to add a little bit of a crunch to it. But yeah, so I'll do something like that sometimes. It just really depends on what I'm feeling like. So that would be a simple meal. Other meals that I make take a little more preparation, but not a heck of a lot of time. So a typical one that I'll make is a spaghetti squash casserole, where I take a pie plate, I take my spaghetti squash, I usually roast a whole spaghetti squash in my microwave. I'll show y'all how to do that sometime. But out of 1 spaghetti squash, I can get a lot of spaghetti squash, guys. That stuff, those things come loaded, man. So typically I will have a giant Tupperware thing of spaghetti squash that's been pre-roasted, and so I'll just take however much I need out of that, but I will layer the whole bottom of the pan, the pie plate, with the spaghetti squash. I will take some Greek yogurt and smear it all over the top of that spaghetti squash mixture, and the reason I do that is because it creates a seal between my proteins and the spaghetti squash, so it kind of holds together better. And then I'll usually brown up some meat, some ground beef, some ground turkey, even ground chicken occasionally. I always try to look for the extra lean, the 97.4 or 96.4 or something like that. For ground turkey, I can even find the 99.1 sometimes. So I like that because I can add some extra fat in, maybe some avocados, maybe I can use some olive oil, things like that, if I can get those really low fat meats. So I will ground that meat. I will season it with whatever season profile I want. I might use taco seasoning to make it a taco one. I might use an Italian blend to make it more of a spaghetti, red sauce type thing. And then I will add in some liquid in the form of either a salsa. Paste is my favorite because it has a really good chunky vegetable mix and there's not a lot of sugar in it. So I'll do that. Or if I'm doing an Italian style, I'll do a Rouse marinara. That's a no sugar added marinara. And a fourth of a cup of that counts as a green. So I'll use some of that and I'll mix it into the meat after it's browned. And once that's done, I will dump it onto the top of the squash and the Greek yogurt. And there we go, I've got that. Then I will take some cheese. I am a cheesy person, I like your cheese. So I'll take some shredded cheese, 2% shredded cheese, and I'll pour it on top of the meat mixture. And then I'll bake it for like half an hour or however long it takes for that cheese to melt and then get kind of crispy on top. Kind of creates the top of the pie. So that would be another typical one. It takes no time, guys. From me, basically it takes about 10 minutes to prep it, maybe 5 minutes to brown the beef, but it's not labor intensive. It doesn't require mad cooking skills, guys. This is simple stuff. So I'll do something like that. The cool thing out of those casseroles is my husband and I get 2 meals out of it. So basically I'm getting a quarter of that pie plate is my serving size. So gotta love that. All in all, I really love my lean greens because the flavor profiles can be anything. I've done Greek, I've done Mexican, I've done Italian, I've done Chinese food, I've done, gotta love stir fries, man. Those are simple go-tos. I've done some Moroccan before, I've done Gulf Coast stuff. So yeah, I mean, you can really get creative with those lean greens as much as you want to, okay? And for days when I don't feel like cooking at all, we have a dining out guide. It has restaurants in it. It tells you exactly what to order from those restaurants, okay? Gives you a list of the options from each of the restaurants. So if I'm sitting there and it's a Tuesday night and we had a really late night and I do not feel like cooking, I may call up Olive Garden or Arby's, or we may run through Subway, or we may go to, Taipei has a couple of things on there. Or Payway, not Taipei, Payway. I've been known to go to, Longhorn Steakhouse and get takeout from there. So we'll go pick it up. And this time with COVID, obviously we're getting takeout for everything. But if it's date night, we may go out to one of those restaurants and sit there and have the meal together. It's really easy with my husband and I both being on plan. We can just tell the waiter right up front, don't bring me the extra bread, don't bring me the extras, don't show me the dessert plate. Like, I tell them up front, we're trying to be healthy, we're not going to do those things. But certainly if I can do takeout, then I'm not even tempted because I'm telling them exactly what I want. So yeah, I'll do that. If it's a non-work day, I will tend to do my lean and green earlier in the day, and my last fueling will be a brownie or a cookie or a cinnamon swirl cake or something else that's kind of dessert-ish. Or the pudding. There's a chocolate pudding. And then there's also like some ice creams that you can make. So there's lots of fueling options. So let's talk about fuelings versus lean and green real quick. Our fuelings, there's a variety of them, okay? You've got everything from shakes and bars to pastas to soups to dessert items like the cookies and stuff. You have Oh, goodness. There's mashed potatoes. There are so many things. Goodness, I can't count them all. I believe there's around 60 different options total for what you can get. So for each of our clients, we help them form their first box so they get a variety of things. And after that, we let our clients pick what it is that they like. And they get to pick and choose and switch things up so that they're not always getting the same thing every month unless they want it. And the cool thing is, because everything on our fuelings menus are all the same nutrition profile. They have the same amount of fat, same amount of carbs, same amount of protein, same amount of calories, and the same vitamins and minerals. Because of that, they can pick whichever ones they like. They don't have to go off of my particular list. And they don't have to eat a shake first and a bar second and a pasta third. They can have whatever they like. Okay? And we're all individual people. And the beauty of this is your plan is going to be right for you. So on a 5-in-1, you're going to do 5 fuelings and 1 lean and green. The lean and green is going to be lean protein. It's going to be vegetables. It's going to be sometimes condiments, and it'll be fats depending on the type of protein you do. So really, it teaches you to eat healthy. It teaches you to eat portion controlled. And it's not eternal, guys. You're not going to stay on the fuelings the rest of your life. Could you if you wanted to? Yeah, but are you going to? No. So, yes, if you look online and you're looking up Optavia and you're reading reviews, keep in mind that there's a lot of misinformation out there because there's a lot of people who review a bunch of different diets and they don't understand our approach. And because they don't understand our approach and they don't understand what we're trying to do with the fuelings, they make it sound like, oh, well, you're going to get on this and you're going to be dependent on the fuelings the rest of your life. No, you're not. As you get to your goal weight or you meet your health goals, we're going to move you off of the fuelings and onto whole foods from the grocery. But by then, you will have learned how much you need to eat. And when we transition you to those whole foods, we're going to help guide you on what that looks like. So it's a lifestyle program. It teaches you to eat fully. So that's the fuelings. I'm actually going to stop this video now, but if you want to continue the conversation, you want more information about what we do, feel free to drop a comment below and we'll get in touch with each other. Or if you want to just give me a shout out on Facebook, again, you can find me at katieparkernovian.com. Or, sorry, at katieparkernovian. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and profile picture is me. So it's pretty easy to find. You guys have a great day. Live life worthy. And please ask me whatever questions you want to ask. If I can't answer it below, I'll get in touch with you and answer you one-on-one. Have a great day, guys.